This place has really been designed around us. It's about having a space that works for you.
Before we even designed this apartment, we had to think about what do we actually need. Everything has a place, down to where the teapot might have its place. So this is a compact apartment, 25 square meters.
This is our living room, our dining room, our hosting space. It's all in one, and so we've had
That's where we sleep as well.
Yeah, correct, over there.
Sydney's property market has really caused us to think creatively in terms of where we live and how we live.
We have tried to fit out this place so that the storage suits the things that we have, not more, not less.
And that's just being mindful and really questioning, do we really need this and how does it really add value to our life?
Part of using this space well has been incorporating a lot of storage. We've got lots of little nooks and crannies where we can tuck things away. This table can be packed away above the oven. We can reconfigure the space depending on what we're doing and depending on our needs. This screen door here can open out so that you can watch TV while sitting on the couch, or it can close and watch TV from bed. After we wash the dishes, we put them away above the sink. That's a good use of space. We don't have any door handles in the apartment, and it sounds like such a simple thing, but it just means you can move around a lot more freely. To be honest, one of the biggest benefits of living here is how easy this place is to clean. I'd say it takes half an hour to clean the whole place. I mean, it sounds silly, but we really appreciate that because we don't want to spend all our time and energy thinking about maintaining, and having a small, decluttered, very simple place means we can spend time and energy doing other things. Living in a tiny apartment does mean that we don't have our own backyard.
We have an abundance of parks around the area. That's been a big part of why we chose this place. One of the sustainable aspects about living in a compact apartment is that you have a smaller footprint. We're only taking up 12, 13 square meters each, I guess. We need to be conscious about how we live and the way we live in a space, and definitely push for sustainability when we can. As cities grow and land becomes more scarce, compact living is one of the ways you can live in an efficient way. It's not feasible to continuously build new structures. We should rethink the whole process, be considering how we can adapt existing buildings to suit our needs.
Hello and welcome to another show, the Digital Marketing Show, presented by realestate.com.au. Joining us once again, our host is Immy Callister, branding specialist with realestate.com.au. G'day Imogen, how are you doing?
G'day, good to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. Now we're going to talk about Facebook today, and in particular Mark Zuckerberg and his, what does he call it, the F8? Why does he call it F8? Is F for Facebook?
Yes, absolutely. And obviously every year that goes round. So it's a number of summits that they hold basically every year, and he gives his key takeouts on what he's going to focus on. So I'm going to love to give you some insight for agents on what that actually means for them.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for Facebook, hasn't it? It's been a rough little period. Be interesting to see, where they're going and what they're doing, particularly in relation to privacy and security.
Well, very interesting that you say that, because Mark Zuckerberg took to the stage and the first thing that he mentioned was that the future of Facebook was private. He did crack a slight joke that didn't go down too well with his audience, but he did promise the world that that Facebook would protect them and that privacy would be something that they really look to.
Yeah, well, no doubt they've got to address that. So let's look at what the changes are. You've pointed it towards a new focus here with groups and community.
So Facebook is obviously a community of apps, and they have Facebook, Messenger, Instagram and WhatsApp. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg really talked about. The first one, yes, is 100% correct. Facebook app is changing. And in fact, you might have already seen it has changed. It's gone from that blue to more that white background now. When I'm on it, I actually don't really notice the difference between that and Instagram. But it will emerge to really focus around communities and groups. So a lot of engagement is found in groups and communities on Facebook, and that's obviously what they want to boost. So there'll certainly be an increase in that. The other thing that he really talked about regarding Facebook was increasing encryption, and also lastly was a focus on in-the-moment content. So he knows that people aren't posting on his Facebook platform because he's scared about what people are going to say, or it'll come back to bite them in the bottom, So he wants to reduce that impact and reduce the permanence of content on that app.
So what does that mean? What is in the moment content?
So in the moment content is things, for example, like your stories. So if we look back years and years ago, Snapchat launched, and that really created this whole idea around in the moment content. So this idea that content in itself should not be permanent or forever lasting. So we've seen the rise in it now with Snapchat taking followership of, with Facebook taking the followership of Snapchat, where it's going to increase stories. So the post lasts for no more than 24 hours and then the content's gone.
Interesting stuff. What about likes? You and I spoke in a recent show about that. How important are they?
Look, I always try and say that it's not about being liked, it is about being seen on your platforms. And that probably brings us on to our next point, which is Instagram and the big changes of the second largest app of Facebook, the one and only Insta. So Mark Zuckerberg really talked here about reducing performance statistics. He believes that we don't post and that we don't do things because we're so preoccupied with how many likes that's going to get and how many followers we have on Instagram. So there's two phases to this. The first one is they are testing out of Canada, which we actually revealed recently, we kind of dubbed to do. But he has revealed that there is testing underway in Canada now that will show that only you will be able to see how many times a video or a photo is liked. The rest of obviously that consumption will not be able to see that. The other thing is this downplaying of analytics. So they're going to reduce how many followers you have, and I'll send you a screenshot. You'll actually be able to see the difference there between two types of profiles that are now live and testing with Instagram. The biggest key takeout is it's minimizing how many followers you can actually see. One's larger and the other one's smaller. So it's really, again, creating that drive and that boost and that enrichment for the platform to be usable for everyone, not just social media influencers or digital influencers. It's trying to make it more friendly for, I guess, the everyday user. The other thing that they're really trying to boost is this engagement between people. So you can now actually, as launched yesterday, stories, that in the moment content, stories you can now just share with particular groups. So say if you've got a group of best friends or a group of mates, you can set up a group and just share stories between them. They also really want to create these interactive quizzes. But lastly, and the only thing that you really need to know about Instagram is watch your spending, because you may be on the app and you don't even realize that you are shopping. I really do believe that is the future of Instagram, with them driving hard to make it shopping seamlessly within the app.
Is that like detecting where you are and then pushing products to you? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So they're called shopping pins, and Pinterest has introduced them now. But these shopping pins, basically you'll be on it and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, I really like, that hair tie, or I really like that bag there. And it'll be like, oh, and the next thing you know, that's linked to your Shopify account and you've gone off and purchased something on Instagram. So, gone, I guess, are the days where it was really just social media. It does drive that engagement. Maybe one day we can have an agent sell a house in one click. Who knows?
Do you think that could be the next round of problems for them? I mean, that's almost a bit like stalking. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, I don't know. Is that the convenient way that people want to go now? Is that what your generation wants?
I think the truth is, we're shopping now wherever we are. We can be retargeted on the internet. We can be going to the shops. I mean, I think the saddest thing for that is it's really will, if they do move into this space, it will have, I guess, a massive impact on retail in shop fronts, because we're just so used to consuming it that way. And, there's always that moment where you forget a dress or you forget a suit and you forget a tie. And, you want to run down to the shops, and maybe that will decrease it there. But I do think it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes left in this segment. I want to ask you about quizzes too, interactive content. I've noticed quite a bit of that happening. Is that a push for them?
Absolutely. Look, I think quizzes are something that, to boost that engagement. One thing as well with Facebook is it's also going into dating, with 14 countries now set to launch into that, with Zuckerberg announcing that. Quizzes are something that's creating interaction between two people, and he really focused on wanting to bring that enrichment back to the app. So we've got dating and we've got quizzes, which is really driving that, consumption and that usage forward.
I noticed too, there's you mentioned WhatsApp, which is one of the suite of products. Are they moving into business as well, are they?
Look, WhatsApp has actually already launched its business solutions, but what I guess they did really dub was they wanted to become a global payment platform, or they kind of nudged towards that's what they wanted to do. Ouch, PayPal, because I know that will really impact them. Look, WhatsApp now has a usership of around 7 million people, and it's really changed the way that people message. I think I kind of got WhatsApp back in the days when we used to cost to exchange messages. You know, by Apple, you could exchange it for free, and by different services you could. But if my friend had an Android and I had an Apple, we download WhatsApp so that messaging was free. I guess data companies have got a lot better at free text messaging and that sort of stuff, so it's not as big an impact. But certainly WhatsApp exists in that. So he did promise a focus on encryption within the app, and he also promised more towards creating this business solution for customers, you know, chatbots and that sort of thing that could drive their business forward, setting up products and catalogs so that if you're communicating in the app, you can send a customer that. And lastly, allowing you potentially to pay within the platform.
Imogen, we're currently selling a property, and we had a meeting with the agent. We've been marketing on realestate.com.au, of course, and we got the market report from them, which indicated to me how many people were looking at our property on digital. Tell me about digital and, how Facebook is actually moving to cater for that, because it's obviously a huge growing market.
Look, digital is so important, especially when you're selling your home. One thing is that we forget that digital's brought us is analytics, so you would be able to see how many people are looking at your, your property. One thing that I really recommend that you have a look at is, especially if you're looking at realestate.com.au reports, is having a look at the number of views on your floor plan. That's actually the most engaged section of our carousel, our photo carousel. So if you're seeing quite good engagement there, that can certainly mean that you've got good engagement within the property. Otherwise, I'd recommend speaking to your agent into how you can do another marketing plan. But digital influences the way that we engage with all types of property. So it influences the way that we can research the history of a property or what's been done to a property. And it certainly influences the way that your buyers will interact with the property.
We all know the importance of video, and we're certainly marketing with a floor plan and with a video. I noticed on realestate.com.au that the floor plan and the video come towards the end of the listing or the carousel. Should they be moved up, and can they be moved up?
Look, it's something certainly that our product team is all over. They are so focused on ensuring that consumer experience is essentially at its best in that section of buying and purchasing product. And our testing shows that most consumers want that layout, I guess, in that way. But, who knows? The world of the future, digital moves so fast.
It does.
Have to think about it, though. We often are really focused on that visual appealing world. And so we get really attracted into the photos, and then we want to know what the layout is. Video is something that in our design, obviously on our interface, you can actually now click up on the side. So you can choose to watch the video first, or you can scroll through.
Very good, Imogen. As always, a font of fantastic knowledge. Immy Callister is from realestate.com.au. She is their branding specialist. Imogen, look forward to catching up with you again in the next show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, one of my objectives for this year as a business was to travel for 50% of the year and to increase my profits by 50%. The first thing I do when I get anywhere, doesn't matter if I'm there for one night, I will unpack. I'll get everything out of my bag, pop in the drawers and make me feel like that's my room and feels like home that way. The best thing about being a digital nomad is being able to prioritise life over work and really living it to its absolute max. My average work would be around 4 to 5 hours a day. It has definitely made me more efficient, can fit into a day what I would fit into a week in an office. There's no interruptions of people coming to your desk, phone calls. So my top tips for travel would definitely be to travel light and don't take a carry-on suitcase, take a really lightweight bag. Secondly would be to try and stay in routine, whether that's having the same breakfast, working in exercise. It'll keep you from getting exhausted. The best way to keep in touch with my friends and family when I'm away is definitely through social media. I think the way the world's moving in terms of business, everyone's really mobile, and I think work-life balance is something that people really value. My main learnings is that I should have done it earlier. I thought it was going to be really hard to do. I think with technology that's around and the openness of people to do business and communicate in those ways, it's actually not that hard. You've just got to give it a go and stop talking about doing it and just do it.